St. Louis Cardinals baseball here on Let's Talk Sports is back. It's the final game of a three-game set here at Garrettine Rate Field here in the south side of Chicago. The Cardinals getting set to take on the Chicago White Sox. The Cardinals swept the White Sox in real life, and they're looking to do the same thing here today as the Cardinals won the first two games. They've been on another big winning streak. Bottom line, I mean, this Cardinals team, that this franchise has been doing really well. You guys know that as they sit with a 62-12 record heading into this game. The White Sox, they're not doing so hot. 28-46 is their record. But this will be an interesting game because we have a new face behind the plate today, and that is Yoel Pozo. Yoel Pozo, he is making his debut in this franchise after Ivan Herrera suffered an injury in Game 2. Pedro Pages, so we got Pedro Pages, we got Pozo, and Wilson Contreras just in case. Lineups in first pitch coming up, Cardinals White Sox. Coming up next here on Let's Talk Sports. And on the man for the Sox, Penn Murphy. 4 starts this year made for him, 2-2 record, 2.67 ERA, a 1.31 WHIP. In 33 innings pitched, he's also struck out 23 batters. Or he has 23 strikeouts on the year. Either way, he's doing really good. Lars Nootbaar's doing really great in the leadoff spot, and we're set to go here today. Quick counts are on once again. I actually have plans after this game. I am actually attending a rodeo tonight. Going to do some media coverage and all that type of stuff. Talk with some of the riders. The bull riders and horse riders and all that type of stuff. There's a grounder to Nootbaar. Throw to first in time. Grounder to first. Gallo steps on the bag. That's out number 1. Here's the Cardinal lineup in this one for you. Nootbaar leads off in center. Batting second and left is Brendan Donovan. Heading third and right is Alec Burleson. Jordan Walker. Lucan Baker is at first base today. Wilson Contreras has the night off. Then we got Nolan Arenado, Ezekiel Duran, Nolan Gorman, and Yoel Pozo is the catcher today. He was called up from AAA last night. We are actually taking a look at the minor league teams for the Cardinals this year, both the AA team in Springfield and the AAA team in Memphis, and they're both doing really well this year. Brendan Donovan, ironically, the best player on the Cardinals in 2025 for the real Cardinals, and then in this game he's been one of the worst hitters. He strikes out looking. First strikeout of the day for Penn Murphy. Here's Burleson hitting .297. That's poked down the left field line, and that is going to go foul. The count is 1-2. Lovely evening here in the south side of Chicago. Gotta love we got a series with the White Sox before we got our series with the Cubs, which will be next week. A 4-game set in St. Louis. Before that, though, we have a 3-game set with the Reds this weekend, so
that's a ball.
Sweeper 2-2. I know Cubs fans are looking forward to the first series of the year against the Cardinals. I know Cardinal fans are looking forward to it. Burleson hits one out to left field. Back goes Benintendi at the wall. He makes the catch. And we go to the bottom of the inning. The White Sox coming to bat when we return. And on the mound for the Redbirds is none other than Luke Weaver. 2 starts made. He's 5-0. Andre Palante, for those of you who don't know, he actually also suffered an injury. Has a bruised rib. And so he is on the 15-day IL, while Ivan Herrera is on the 10-day IL. So you'll probably be seeing Yoel Pozo behind the plate a little bit alongside Pedro Pages and Wilson Contreras.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Count is 1-2 to the White Sox leadoff hitter Corey Julks, hitting .200 throughout this season. That's a drop third strike. Pozo's throw down to first is in time. That is out number 1. First strikeout recorded by Luke Weaver, who is filling in for Andre Palante as the number 5 starter. in the Cardinal rotation. One out, here's the veteran Austin Slater. He too's hitting 200 this year. Goatee and all, Austin Slater, former Giant, was in San Francisco for a number of years. He takes a fastball for strike 3, and that's out number 2. Back-to-back strikeouts for Luke Weaver here in the bottom of the inning. That'll bring in Mike Tauchman, hitting 283. This guy's been on a handful of teams over the years. He's been with the Yankees. He's been with the Cubs. He's been with the Giants. Pretty sure he was with the Angels at one point. Tauchman's been on a lot of teams, you know. Nothing wrong with that. You know, nothing wrong with being a journeyman player. You know, you get to play for a lot of different teams. You get to learn different cultures, I guess, in different cities. You know, the different vibe in every city, I guess. Here's a grinder to Duran, playing shortstop today instead of second base. Throw to first is in time, and we go to the second inning here in the south side of Chicago. No score.
Leading off for the Cardinals.
Jordan Walker leads off for the Redbirds here in the top of the second inning. He is doing really well this year, hitting 286. As you can see,
That's ball 2. 2 balls, 1.
also has 18 home runs and 60 runs batted in this year. He is by far been one of the best hitters in the Cardinal lineup throughout this franchise. He's also been very clutch when needed. And of course, having a little Mr. Clutch gene, I mean, that's pretty important to have in baseball. That's a sweeper. And Walker works the count, 3-2. Luke and Baker on deck, playing first base today. That's it, foul, and the count is 3-2. Three-two to Murphy. From Murphy to Walker is fouled off again, and it's 3-2. So the old Pozo behind the plate. He will be the fourth guy starting catcher for the Cardinals this year. 4 different catchers for the Cardinals this season has made a start behind the plate. Ivan Herrera, Pedro Padres, those have been the 2 main guys. Wilson Contreras, he caught a couple games, and now Yoel Pozo, who's batting 9th in the lineup. Walker works a walk. And now bring in Luke and Baker. Has not played a whole lot this year, though he is on the trade block for the Cardinals. And he too works a walk against Penn Murphy. Back-to-back walks issued with Nolan Arenado coming up. That's a sweeper, fouled off, and it's 1-2. Got Kyle Teal behind the plate. He was traded over the offseason from Boston to Chicago for Garrett Crochet. He had an interview with AJ Przinsky and Eric Kratz from the Foul Territory podcast, and so they were talking with him. Really interesting. It was really cool seeing Kyle Teal, a catcher, talking with AJ Przinsky, who's not only a catcher, but of course, White Sox legend. Base hit into center field. That's going to bring in a run for the Cardinals, and it's 1-0. Arenado drives in the first Cardinal run of the day. And it is 1-0. Here comes Ezekiel Duran. But going back to Kyle Teal, yeah, really cool. Just 2 veteran catchers, Przinsky and Eric Kratz, talking with a young rookie, Kyle Teal, who will hopefully grow and continue to be one of the best catchers in baseball. That's a fastball, ball 3 to Duran. Penn Murphy's already issued 2 walks in this inning. He doesn't want to issue a third to Duran. Duran playing shortstop today instead of Mason Wynn, while Nolan Gorman plays second. Count is 3-2 to Duran. That is into right. It will drop for a base hit. 1 run scores. They are going to bring in a second runner to the plate. Never mind. They're going to hold him at third. Either way, the Cardinals now have a 2-0 lead. Ezekiel Duran with an RBI double. That'll bring in Nolan Gorman. 1 ball, 1 strikes the count. That's fouled off, and it's 1-2. Gorman hitting .212 on the year. He's in the number 8 hole in the lineup today. He usually bats 9th when he's in the lineup. Someone else the Cardinals have been talking about possibly trading is Nolan Gorman. That is absolutely crushed to right field, and just like that, the Cardinals have a 5-0 lead. A 3-run shot for Nolan Gorman. That's his 8th home run of the season. And St. Louis jumps up to a 5-0 lead here in the top of the 2nd inning. Talking about trading him? Well, if he keeps hitting homers like that, either his trade value will either go up or the Cardinals might decide, you know what, we should keep the guy. Keep him around for a little bit. And now Yoel Pozo, this is his first at bat.
No, that's foul.
That's it, foul. Benintendi couldn't reach for it, or he couldn't get it. Here's a 1-2 from Murphy. That's a fastball, 2-2. Yoel Pozo was originally brought in, or the Cardinals signed him to a minor league deal over the offseason. Right to second. And Penn Murphy finally has the first out recorded for him. That'll bring in Lars Nootbaar. Nootbaar hits one in the gap in right center field. Going back is Robert. And this one is gone. Lars Nootbaar. A solo home run out to right center field. And it's 6-0 Redbirds here in the 2nd. Home run number 15 on the year. And the Cardinal offense is exploding early in the game here off of Penn Murphy. Will Venable, the White Sox manager, decided he had enough. And so the White Sox are going to their bullpen for the rest of the game. They might bring in a long reliever, deed some innings up. And that's exactly what they're going to do as Mike Clevenger pops out of the bullpen. Let's see what he can do for the rest of the game, I guess you could say. 1 ball, 1 strike to Brendan Donovan. That's taken for ball 2. Donovan struck out his last time up. Hoping to redeem himself here now that he's facing a new batter, Mike Clevenger. There's a slider, and it's 3-1. Clevenger, this guy used to pitch with the Cleveland Guardians or the Indians. Played a little bit with the Padres. I've actually watched Mike Clevenger pitch. Fun fact, I watched him pitch in real life. I went to a Cardinals-Indians game in 2018, and Clevenger was the starter for Cleveland. He wasn't really well known at the time, kind of like how he is now, but still really cool to watch. And then Corey Kluber pitched the day after. Burleson hits one into center field. That's going to get down. That is going to advance a runner home. Donovan slides in head first, Pete Rose style. And it's 7-0 St. Louis here in the 2nd. 7-0 Cardinals. And here comes Jordan Walker. Fastball, 2-1. Walker worked a walk earlier in the inning. This is his 2nd at bat in 2 innings. That's fouled off, and it's 2-2. For those of you just tuning in, 7-0 Cardinals. Yeah, that's right, 7-0 St. Louis in the second inning. Jordan Walker, who led off the inning, is getting his second at-bat in this of the game. So he's the one responsible for this 7-run rally. He's the one who started it. Fastball 3-2. Is it possible to have 2 at-bats? You know, 2 walk twice, walk the same batter? Or the same batter works a walk and twice in one inning? I don't know. 3-2. And there you go. There, Walker walked for the second time in this game. 2 on, 1 out, and that will bring in Luken Baker. He too issued a walk his last time up. Runners at first and second for the Cardinals. That's a fastball up high for ball 2. Baker, in his last 4 games, is hitting .429, 4 for 11. That's rip foul, and it's 2-2. Baker hitting .250 on the year. Two. Fouled off once more. Excuse me. And there's a strikeout recorded by Mike Clevenger, and that is out number 2. Here's Arenado. 3-2 pitch to Arenado. Connor got him looking. And we go to the bottom of the inning. The Cardinals, 7 runs come in to score. A couple home runs by Nolan Gorman and Lars Nootbaar were hit also. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Luke Weaver with a big old smile on his face, knowing that his team just scored 7 runs for him. And we're only in the 2nd inning. That is hit foul, and the count is 2-2. Luis Robert getting his first at-bat of the day. Luis Robert, Luis Robert, whatever you want to call him. Count is 2-2.
I got 3-2.
Cutter 3-2. Here's the pitch. Robert crushes it out to left field, and the White Sox are on the board. That was absolutely crushed by Luis Robert. And it's a 7-1 ball game. 394 feet out to left. So I'll bring in Andrew Benintendi.
Ball. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Two to Benintendi, and there's a strikeout.
Batting sixth, catcher Kyle Teal.
Ball 3.
Three and one to Kyle Teal.
Full count.
That's a very ugly picture of him. Hopefully there's like another picture of him. Because the roster I'm using is from like very early in the season.
Batting seventh, the shortstop.
So just a heads up.
Colson
Here's Colson Montgomery. Bottom of the second inning, 2 outs, 7-1. Cardinals lead the White Sox. That's some interleague play going on. We go to the third inning. Luis Robert puts the White Sox on the board at 7-1. Cardinals still lead.
leading off for the
Cardinals and White Sox, final game of a 3-game set. Here in the south side of Chicago, the Cardinals wrapping up a 7-game road trip.
Ball, that's out.
They had 4 games with the Brewers and now 3 games with the White Sox. Cardinals won all those games so far, and so far they're on top in this game. Here's Ezekiel Duran, 2-2 count. And there's a strikeout, 1 away.
Now
Mike
batting
Clevenger getting the top of the third inning going and in his direction.
Now batting number 55.
One and two, the count to Pozo. Strike 3 call, and we go to the bottom of the inning. With the White Sox, or with the Cardinals on top, 7-1.
And leading off for the White Sox. First base.
Well, as you guys know, the Cardinals are doing really well in this franchise. The White Sox, on the other hand, they're kind of in a different boat, kind of a different vibe with the White Sox. Here's Joey Gallo, who quit during spring training so he could pitch. Well, Wonder how that's going for him.
Nope.
Here's a cutter, 2-1. Has there been any updates on that? On Joey Gallo and pitching? Because I haven't heard anything about that since, well, he made the news back in March. Gallo strikes out. That's out number 1.
Batting ninth, second baseman, Lenny Sosa.
One and two, the count.
Got her.
Up next for the White Sox.
2 outs now here in the bottom of the third. Here is Corey Julks, the third baseman in this game for the White Sox. 0 for 1 with a strikeout.
Did he go?
2-2 to the count to Julks.
Foul.
2-2 the count. And strike 3 call. End of 3 here in Guaranteed Rate Field. We go to the 4th inning. 7-1 Cardinals lead.
Leading off for St.
Top of the Cardinal lineup due up here in the 4th inning. It's 7-1 Redbirds. I guess this is a good time to talk about the Cardinal themed tickets. Theme tickets, as you guys know, are a great way to get access to exclusive promotional items and fan events going on throughout the season with the Cardinals. For details and full list of dates, visit cardinals.com/theme. Dupar strikes out to begin the 4th.
Now batting, left fielder, Brendan Donovan.
Tuesday, June 24th and Wednesday, June 25th. Our next 2 ticket-themed days.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Tuesday, June 24th versus the Chicago Cubs. It is Mental Health Awareness Night at the ballpark, presented by NAMI St. Louis. And then Wednesday, June 25th, it is both Mizzou and Illini Night. There's a base hit into left field. Brendan Donovan
Now batting,
picks up the 6th hit of the game for the Cardinals. They have Mizzou night and then Illini night at the ballpark, June 25th. Mental Health Awareness Night on Tuesday, June 25th. Those are all going on June 24th and the 25th. Cardinals and the Chicago Cubs.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Burleson. 1 for 2 with an RBI double back in inning number 2. An inning the Cardinals scored all 7 of those runs in. And then as for promotion and giveaways, 2 outs. Fly ball to center, 2 outs.
now batting, designated hitter, Jordan Walker.
Aye.
1-2 the count. Strike 3 call. And we go to the bottom of the 4th inning, 7-1 Cardinals.
And leading off for the
Friday, June 20th and Saturday, June 21st are both
Slater.
Cole Swindle postgame. There is a Cole Swindle postgame concert going on Friday, June 20th after the game versus the Cincinnati Reds. And then Saturday, June 21st, it is both City Connect Polo. You can win a City Connect Polo shirt and a Kids Mason Win Growth Chart presented by Busy Bank and Missouri Farmers Care. That'll be Saturday, June 21st, the Cardinals and the Cincinnati Reds. So that's a little promo going on over the weekend. And then, of course, the theme tickets, Mental Health Night, and then June 24th versus the Cubs, and then June 25th, both Mizzou and Illini Night, of course, celebrating
Now batting, right fielder.
the rivalry between Missouri and Illinois. Since there's a lot of course, lots of Cardinal fans in Illinois, lots of Cardinal fans in Missouri, that would be concerning. Very concerning if there weren't Cardinal fans in Missouri, since that's the state that the Cardinals play in. But 2-1 the count to Mike Tauchman, hitting .282. Where I'm from, there's a lot more Cardinal fans than there are White Sox fans. Where I'm from, it's Cardinals and Cubs. I don't think a lot of people really care too much about the White Sox. There's a grounder to second. Gorman throw to first in time. That's out number 2. I'm sure in Chicago, though, that it's a lot different. It's a lot different subject matter when it comes to the White Sox. Of course, it's all White Sox and Cubs up in Chicago. But down here in the central part of Illinois, it's there's still Cubs fans, but there's Cardinal fans also. Base hit in the center field for Luis Robert. He has both hits in this game for the White Sox, a solo homer, and now a single.
Andrew Benintendi.
2 outs now. Here is Andrew Benintendi, 0 for 1. Pickoff throw to first, and Robert goes back safely. Luke Weaver's still on the mound. This might be his second to last inning. I'm assuming the Cardinals got guys warming up in the bullpen. Benintendi fouls it off, and it's 2-2. Let's see real quick. That's the White Sox bullpen. Cardinal bullpen. Nope, nobody's getting hot right now. Nobody's hot in the Cardinal pen right now, but 2-2 to Benintendi, and a fastball called strike 3. And we go to the 5th inning. In Chicago, the Cardinals lead 7-1.
Leading off for St. Louis.
Luke and Baker leads out for the Redbirds here in the top of the 5th inning.
That's a ball.
Fastball, 2-1.
That's ball 3.
3-1. Arenado on deck. Baker crushes it out to left field. It is gone. Look at Baker. Makes it 8-1 Redbirds here at the top of inning number 5. The handful of Cardinal fans who made the trip up from Chicago are definitely getting a kick out of this. 439 out to left field. 8-1 Redbirds. And now bring in Arenado. Cutter taking 1 and 2. 1-2.
2 balls,
Fastball
2 strikes.
taken for ball 2. Popped up. Gallo makes the catch.
Shortstop, Ezekiel.
1 away.
That's ball 2.
Ball 2 to Duran. That is hammered out to left field. It is down for a base hit. Benintendi can't make the catch. Duran goes for 2. And it's a 1-out double. Two and 2 to Gorman and a grounder to short. 2 away.
Now batting, number 55.
That'll bring in Yoel Pozo. 0 for 2, struck out, and a line out. And 2 trips to the plate. That's a circle change taken for ball number 2. Fouled off again. Final game of a 3-game set between the Cardinals and the White Sox. 8-1's your score. Fouled off again. Fly ball to center. Robert makes the catch. And we head to the bottom of the inning. Lucan Baker with his 4th home run of the year. Makes the score 8-1 St. Louis. We're in the 5th inning now, or the bottom of inning number 5. Halfway through this game. Got about 4 innings left to go.
Ball.
Kyle Lee warming up in the St. Louis bullpen right now. He was also called up from AAA to fill in for, as Palante is on the injured list. Counts 2 and 2. Weaver moved up to the rotation, and Kyle Lee got a promotion to the MLB to be in the bullpen until Palante gets back, of course, and then Luke Weaver will most likely go back to the bullpen, and Lee, he will most likely go back to Memphis. I know some Cardinal fans will not like that. Knuckle curve taken 3 and 2. Right to Duran, 1 away.
Now batting, the shortstop, Jose Montez. Montgomery.
And Luke Weaver is done as we go to,
St. Louis.
as we're halfway through the fifth inning. Kyle Leahy.
Kyle Leahy.
Leahy makes his first appearance of the year.
Nope, that's inside.
Inside, 2-1. Luke Weaver's done after 4 1/3 of an inning. 2 hits allowed, 1 run, 6 strikeouts. Those 2 hits, of course, came from Luis Robert, and then that 1 run was a home run. Colson Montgomery
2 strikes.
with a 2-2 count.
3.
Struck him out, 2 away.
Now batting first baseman.
2 outs here is Joey Gallo. Could have at least have had Weaver finish the inning. That's probably what I would have done. That's just my opinion, too, though.
2 balls, 1 strike.
Ball 2 to Joey Gallo. This is a 2-time All-Star with the
Ball 3.
Texas Rangers. And now he's been a journeyman outfielder. He's been with the Yankees. He's been a Dodger. He's been with the Twins. He was with the Nationals. This year he was with the White Sox and he got released in real life. This year, though, the White Sox have been keeping him around. Despite him not doing very well, there's a strikeout into 5. Here in Chicago, it's 5-1 Cardinals, or 8-1 Cardinals. We go to the 6th inning, Lars Nootbaar. I'm probably going to, simulate the rest of the game. If that quick manage the rest of the game, if that's cool with you guys. Because, the game, it's a little out of reach. I know it's 8-1, and also I got some plans after later today, so kind of want to get to those, prepare for those. Justin Anderson comes in relief here in the 7th. Ball 4 to Luis Robert. Benintendi flies out. Kyle Teal flies out. Montgomery base hit. Lee gets out of it. Shane Smith comes in to face Gorman. Base hit for Pozo. So everyone in the Cardinal lineup has a base hit. At least 1 hit. Nootbaar base hit. Run scores. It's 9-1 Cardinals. Another double for Burleson. Leahy's still going. And now we will see a home run for Lucan Baker again. He's got 2 in this game. But the bases are loaded. Here's Brendan Donovan. We got a chance to, go for a grand slam. And that's exactly what he does. Out to right field. Grand slam. Grand slam, Brendan Donovan. And it's 16-1 Cardinals in the 9th inning. A huge game for the Cardinal offense. The White Sox going back to their bullpen, bringing in James Karinchak. Burleson reaches on an error. The White Sox have committed 2 of those. Leahy base hit to Tauchman. Let's see if Leahy can get out of the game, or can finish the game.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Pozo's throw to second was a bit off balance. Thank goodness he wasn't trying to steal. Robert strikes out. That's 1 away. Here's Andrew Benintendi. He has done nothing at the plate in this series.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
1 and 2. Bouncer there, not a 1. Can they get them both? They will, and the Cardinals pull off the sweep here in the south side A 16-1 final score here against the White Sox in the final game of the series. The Cardinals will head back home. They've got 3 games with the Reds. And then, of course, a 4-game series with the other Chicago team, the Cubs. Kyle Leahy picks up the win in his first game this year. Penn Murphy ends up with the loss. And that's all we got for you here today on Cardinal Baseball here on Let's Talk Sports. I apologize, the stream was a little bit shorter. Again, the game kind of got out of hand. It was kind of a blowout. I don't really think you guys would want to see blowouts. And not to mention, I got some plans for later today, of course, going to a rodeo. So the gates actually open here in a couple hours, so I need to start getting ready. But with that said, I'm Josh Wright signing off. Have a great Friday. Have a great rest of your weekend. The Cardinals win it 16-1. Good night from Guaranteed Rate Field in the south side of Chicago.